There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun.
You're probably wondering how I ended up singing karaoke to myself at 2 a.m. with my neighbors pounding on the ceiling. Well, you could say that I'm... So, yeah, I completely Formula One crashed from burnout last month. So I did what every therapist and WikiHow article told me to do. Take some time off, they said. Relax, my friends texted me. This'll be great for my declining mental health, I told myself. But what was supposed to be time off turned into an elaborate game of whack-a-mole as my body went on strike against me. The moment I took a second for myself, I suddenly had severe allergies, an extreme medical iron deficiency, ADHD symptoms of both insomnia and extreme exhaustion, burnout from making YouTube videos, unspecified, problems with my uterus that resulted in flashes of intense pain, and debilitating neck pain from something called upper crust syndrome that I guess I basically gave to myself from having terrible posture. All while switching over to new medical insurance, which, dear reader, I would not wish on my worst enemy, Amy Comey Barrett. And before I knew it, I was lying in bed at 9 a.m. with a sinus headache, wishing it was 10 p.m. so that I could rationalize immediately going back to bed. Since I was little, I've had this recurring dream where I'm drowning, slowly sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And just when I'm about to run out of air, I breathe in, and suddenly I'm breathing underwater, like the half-fish, half-human that I am. I almost did drown when I was 3 years old on a family vacation. I tried to grab a pool noodle and just fell right in. And as I sank downward, looking up at the sun, my mom's hands appeared, pulling me back up to the surface. And maybe that's where that dream comes from. The other dream that I have all the time is that dinosaurs are back to life, and for that one, I've got nothing. But lately, I felt trapped in that first part of the dream, in a loop of continuously drowning. Neither my gills or my lungs bringing me relief. Anytime I try to catch my breath by doing the things that I'm supposed to do to feel better according to therapists and WikiHow, like going for a walk, calling up a friend, reading even. My stamina would last me an hour, maybe two, and then I'd crash back into the darkness of my bedroom, Murphy by my side, both of us licking our wounds. I knew in an abstract sense that I was juggling an unsustainable workload, creating videos on top of auditioning and writing and performing, and I knew that I was skidding towards the concrete barrier. But I didn't realize how connected my body was to my eroding mental health. I thought taking time off from YouTube would help me relax or even just untense one of my neck muscles for a second. But instead, everything caught up with me all at once as I refreshed his website, waiting for them to re-diagnose me and then transfer my ADHD medication. I hate feeling still, I hate feeling stuck, and I didn't want to admit it, but I was both. Restless because I don't know how to relax, but unable to do anything while my body conserved every red blood cell it managed to squeeze out. Anyways, and this is totally unrelated, but did you know that PBS Frontline uploaded a ton of their documentaries to YouTube? New ones, old ones from the 90s, ones from the early 2010s. But I couldn't bring myself to do anything. I'd pop one on for Murphy and me, and together we'd step into these little time machines. I watched a documentary from 1985 with original footage from 1945 about the aftermath of the Holocaust.
Unless the world learns the lesson these pictures teach, night will fall.
And then up next, a documentary from 2018 about the aftermath of the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville.
Just this month, the FBI announced hate crimes had spiked again.
I watched an expose on BP dumping oil into the Gulf of Mexico from 2010.
It's been called the worst environmental disaster in U.S. history.
And then an expose from 2019 about my home state of Michigan dumping lead into Flint's water supply.
It remains to be seen whether any of the officials at the center of the Flint water crisis will be held responsible.
Just like the time jumps in Dope Sick, another great show I watched all in one sitting. You can watch an investigation into the rising heroin epidemic that aired in 2016.
It's a crisis 30 years in the making.
And then an episode from summer 2020 about drug companies profiting off of these people's pain.
High doses driving higher revenues.
And another one. And another one. Oh, look, another one. oh no, maybe I'm wrong about everything and nothing good will ever happen again, and this is the way that things will always be, and I'll never feel better. Oh no. Well, actually, you know what? That works out fine because I am exhausted. I'll just close my eyes for a few minutes and then wake up and then finish this essay. Without my brain medication, my sleep has been erratic and unpredictable. At 3 a.m., I'd watch a documentary about the ways that white Americans undermined civil rights immediately after the Civil War, and then wake up to the news that Tucker Carlson ranted about the Great Replacement theory on the most watched TV show in America last night. I had a toy when I was a kid that I loved. It was a fake TV. It would just loop through different landscapes over and over and over again. I watched it for hours. My favorite book, 100 Years of Solitude, is written as if the entire town is in a time loop, the Buendia family continually retracing their steps and retreading their past. Author Gabriel Garcia Marquez wrote the book as a reflection of living in post-colonial Colombia, reliving its past over and over and over. My ADHD-addled brain has been hardwired to ruminate, to review, to reflect. Those are two nicer words for it. Sure, it makes me thoughtful, I guess, but it also puts thoughts into my head that no one needs to remember on a loop. Like that time I misspelled my own alma mater on a resume where I was interviewed by an alumni, and dear reader, if you thought people didn't care about a simple spelling mistake, I regret to inform you that you are gravely mistaken. Not that I'm still thinking about it or anything. And every day we're told terrible news by cold, correctly spelled headlines. I can't tell you how many friends have told me the same thing lately, that everything feels moot. What's the point? No one wants to be around anymore, and who can blame us? How are we supposed to be creative or supportive or a human when our well has gone dry and the weatherman had just told us that we're about to go through another drought? Usually I'd call up a friend to chat away the pain. But one of my friends is off working in Spain, my bestie moved to Texas, and my dear friend who lives nearby was getting ready to get married, and I wasn't gonna ask him to deal with my shit. Besides, what was I gonna say? Help, I'm not myself, I'm about to join a gym! So later that week, I joined a gym. I loved swimming as a kid. I could swim before I could walk. Ha ha ha, fish, I get it. Being underwater is one of my favorite places to be. Feeling like my body is weightless, little bubbles rushing up my arms and legs. A sense of content and stillness that I've never been able to create in my own brain. On a day where I couldn't bother to shower, I'd think about jumping into that vat of cold chlorine. And soon enough, I'd be in the water with 3 elderly women stretching, like a little club of gals just happy to get out of bed that day. Anyways, also unrelated, have you seen the show Old Enough? It's a Japanese reality show where little kids do their very first errand all by themselves, and the crushing highs and lows of achieving their goals and failing for their entire community to see. Oh boy, do I feel for these kids. In one episode, a little boy needs to transfer a bunch of fish from his father's boat to the fish market, and his basket breaks twice on the way there, and he drops his bag of apples twice on the way back. Every time a fish or fruit fell to the floor, it was a devastating blow. I wanted to cry in frustration along with him. Me too, I wanted to tell the kid through the screen. I feel like I've dropped all my fish and I'll never get through this. But their tiny struggles and their tiny wins help my tiny struggles and my tiny wins feel like they matter. Even if all I did was remember to get my passport renewed. I mean, not like I'm going anywhere, but... Also, I didn't remember to get my passport renewed. I just needed to write something in the sentence for this video. But now that I've confessed my sins in front of my peers, I will definitely remember to do it as soon as I'm done. Wink. The other reason I like this show is because with everything that's happening in the world right now, my problems are as insignificant as baby's first errand. And I'm definitely not alone in feeling this way. I went to a writer's meetup with some friends to get me out of the house, and all anyone could talk about was this overwhelming, creeping sense of collapse and doom.
I have had more conversations, I feel like, in the past, 6 weeks. There's a pre-apocalyptic feeling that is out there.
There's no way to fix this type of pain. There's no website I can go to give me 10 tips to combating the erosion of everything. And if there was, number 1 would probably be something as useless as clean your room. I tweeted about this feeling I was having a couple weeks ago while sitting in my dark room as pain ran up and down my trapezius, and someone responded, "Have you tried meditating?" Which was basically the equivalent of asking that 4-year-old, "Hey, have you tried picking up the fish?" Meditation is supposed to be great for a brain like mine. Not that I would know because I've never been able to do it right, but I do know catapulting through life at breakneck speed has not been good for me, and I have the sore whiplash neck to prove it. I know I'm supposed to be paying attention to tiny details to ground me in the present and give me a sense of peace. The way that Murphy's fur feels beneath my fingers, the tiny tickling bubbles running up my arm, the way my partner snores when the window's open, and the little kids doing their first little errand. A lot of ADHD guides will talk about wasted time and wasted potential. I understand the feeling that they're describing, but I also think that that is a load of bullshit. I've never talked to anyone who didn't feel like complete garbage after reading something like that. I mean, I understand what they're getting at. Being neurodivergent, but going through life having people expecting you to do things that you simply cannot do, like keep track of a credit card. Constantly being measured against a stick in inches when you were built in centimeters. Not having the resources to make sense of my own mind's manual. But if you're gonna say that I wasted time, then what are you gonna tell someone with long COVID? Or when I catch long COVID? Or anything that makes you a less than perfect robot? When I was juggling 5 part-time jobs, I sure got a lot of work done. But I was also miserable, and now my body is dealing with the consequences. You are never wasting time. Treading water isn't wasting your potential. It's keeping yourself afloat. Right? Right? Anyways, very related. Have you seen the Pokemon movie? No. The first Pokemon movie. On a particularly dark night, and still trying to comfort myself by returning to things from my childhood, I popped in Pokemon the first movie. I was definitely a Pokemon kid. The idea that there were these animals out there to be discovered, and they were waiting to be my friend, too good to be true. But wow, I did not remember how hard this kid movie goes.
Life, the great miracle, and the great mystery.
We got a pocket monster asking philosophical questions about the meaning of life and suffering.
Who am I? What is my true reason for being?
Who got the futility of doing the right thing even in the face of certain defeat. We have an epic anti-war scene with our hero Pikachu refusing to fight his fellow Chew. And in the end, Ash dies to save his animal and human friends, and their literal magic tears of grief and love bring him back to life. It was some deep shit, man. During my time of rest and relaxation, heavy air quotes, I saw 5 different doctors, went to 3 separate medical wings, got an ultrasound, took written tests, peed in a cup, got 12 vials of my blood drawn, and probed by a long metal camera. This was the first time in my life that I've had reliable medical insurance, and I could not believe that I could just get the help that I needed. Before I got my treatment, I was just freeballing medical care and had to get my medicine from a shady ADHD for Millennials center that I'm fairly sure was a scam because who would call a serious business that? I don't need another website to tell me that the way that my brain functions makes me lose opportunities or wastes my life. I just needed help. I just needed a documentary to tell me that I'm not imagining things. I just need some wonderful old ladies to cheer me on at the pool. I just needed a Pokemon to crawl up next to me when I felt sick or tired or sad. I didn't need everything everywhere all at once. Great movie though. I just needed my partner to do laundry and taxes with. Right now, I'm finishing this essay on a camping trip that my college buddy planned for all of us. Sitting by a fire, surrounded by some of my oldest friends, talking about our feelings, our future, whether or not we think jellyfish will take over after us, the taste of a freshly burnt s'more, the rustling of the trees, waves crashing on the shore, sand in my armpits, mosquito biting my ankle. We were all taught from a very young age that being independent is the most important virtue. But the reality is that none of us accomplish anything alone. We all need help. We all need each other. We all need someone to cheer us on when we're struggling to pick up that fish. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. of the ways that I try to inspire myself when my well has gone dry is by checking out films from exciting new filmmakers. And oh hey, look at that! Mubi is right there to help me out. And this month they have an entire collection of films just for Pride. Like the film Score from 1974 by Radley Metzger, which was one of the first films to portray bisexuality on screen. Ah, my people. Or Heaven Reaches Down to Earth, a gorgeous short film from South Africa about desire and self-discovery. You'll never run out of movies to explore because Mubi premieres a new film every day, each one hand-selected, like your own personal film festival that you can watch from your couch. And hey, it's your lucky day because you can watch it for free for 30 days when you sign up to try Mubi at mubi.com/mmfish. That's mubi.com/mmfish for a whole month of great cinema for free. I got a date with some hot buttered popcorn and a femme fatale. Thank you so much for watching. And an extra special thank you to all my patrons and everyone watching over on Nebula. YouTube doesn't love videos like this, and I'm only able to make them because of your generous support. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with what's made you feel 1% better lately. If you'd like to support me and the channel, head over to patreon.com/Maggie Mae Fish. And you, yes you like movies, right? Well, I've designed a movie notebook just for you. Keep track of your thoughts, your reviews. Still got time to order one for your dad for Father's Day. Click the link in the description box to get yours. Save Martha.
Can now ladies sing the song? Do da, da 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 da. Oh, do da.